mathematical knowledge. Specifically, we're going to look at exponents today. We're going to start at 3 o'clock. But if you're getting ready right now, make sure you have your paper and pencil out so you could take notes. That really helps kind of stick. Try and do the problem before I do them. I'll give you a little bit of a pause as we're going over them, see if you can figure them out. If you have any questions at all, post them in the comments right here. I have my Chromebook with me, so I'll answer your questions and try and review them as much as I can. Looks like a pretty good video. If anybody's there right now, if you would please just go ahead and say you could hear me okay. Sounds good. Video quality is good. Time we got? A few minutes till we get started. Any comments at all? Anything you want me to work on? We're waiting a couple minutes here. All right, looks like everybody could hear me okay. I'll still just give it a minute more. Kind of warm up a little bit with my juggling. Waiting for the time to go before we start working on ASVAB problems, prepping for the test, change our life. I think that's it, or is it? Maybe 1 minute more. Who's that? Hi there, #1 fan, Barney X4N. It's good to see you. Really struggling with ASVAB. I feel scared. I struggle mainly with arithmetic reasoning, word problems. Word problems are tough. I want to join the Army. Well, let's just keep working at it, keep working at it, keep working at it. Practice, practice, practice. You'll bring that score up. You can do it. I know you can do it. All it takes is work. A lot of stuff you might not have seen for a long time, might be complicated, but we'll break it down, go slow. Little pieces at a time, we'll get it sorted out. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It looks like it's just about 3 o'clock. Today is class. I'm going to go over today our exponents. If there's a little bit of time at the end, I could go over anything you post in the comments and want me to go over. The math portion of the ASVAB seems to be the hardest, and the hardest people haven't seen for the longest time. Sometimes a lot of these math ideas you might have saw in school a long time ago and never got them. There are two math portions: arithmetic reasoning, which is a lot of word problems, reasoning your way through; mathematical knowledge, which is kind of traditional, what you would have learned in school. So this is kind of what you would see on the math knowledge portion of the ASVAB or any other standardized math exam. And we're going to go over exponents. So before we even get started, let me just talk about what an exponent is. If I want to write 4 times 4, 4 times itself, I could just do that with an exponent and call it 4 squared. Not that big of a savings, but if I have 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, I don't want to write all of that out. So I could just count up how many 4s I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and say it is 4 to the 5th. This number right here is your base number, and this number right here is your exponent. It is telling you how many times you multiply the base number by itself. There are 6 rules of exponents. Sometimes if you just know this rule of exponents, you could get the problem right on the ASVAB or any other standardized math exam. I have 10 multiple choice problems at the end of this that we'll go over, and some other practice problems as well. Again, make sure you have paper and pencil out. Take some notes. Okay, the first one is the product rule. So I'm going to go through these rules. First thing to know is that we have a base and an exponent. There are 6 of these rules. The first one is the product rule. The product says the bases have to be the same. Product means to multiply. I am multiplying a to some power times a to another power. The way I do that is I add the exponents. So that's the rule. As an example, if I had x to the 3rd times x to the 5th, my bases are the same. I would add the exponents to get 8. If I had y squared times y to the 7th, my bases are the same. They are still y. I would add those exponents, and I get, hopefully you're saying it to yourself, y to the 9th. That's our product rule. Our second rule is our quotient rule. Quotient means division. Again, the bases have to be the same. So if I have a to the m divided by a to the n, I subtract, right? The product I add, the quotient I subtract. So the rule is bases are the same. I subtract one exponent from the other. As an example here, the bases are the same. They're both y. 9 minus 3 gives me 6. Here's another example. This I have x to the 17th over x squared. What's that going to be equal to? It's going to be equal to x. Now hopefully you're saying out loud, to the 15th power. Okay, product rule, quotient rule, power of a power rule. That's where I have a to some power, and that whole thing's in parentheses, to another power. You might see these problems as well in mathematical knowledge in order of operation problems. Here, you are going to multiply the exponents together. So if I have 2 to the 3rd to the power of 2, now I multiply those together to get 2 to the 6th. 2 to the 6th, it seems a little hard, but you could do it, count out on your fingers. 2 times 2, 4. Double it, 8. 16. 32. 64. 2 to the 6 is equal to 64. Let's say I have 3 squared to the power of 2. I'm going to multiply those together to get 3 to the 4th. 3, 9, 27. 27 times 3, 81. Okay, the negative exponent rule. If you have a negative exponent, you can always make it positive by reciprocating it. So a to the negative n is the same as 1 over a to the n. 5 to the negative 2 is equal to 1 over 5 to the 2. 5 to the 2 is 5 times itself, 25, or 1/25. So if I have 6 to the negative 3, that's going to be equal to 1 over 6 to the 3rd. 6 to the 3rd, I don't know if I could do that one in my head. 6 times 6, 36. 36 times 6, 6, 18, 216. 1 over 216. So those are our first 4. Hopefully you have them in your notes before I move the board up. Let me just check this, make sure you got your notes updated. Good, good. Taking my test in 12 days. A lot of time to score. Improve that score. Oh, good. Oh, that's good to hear. Okay. Let me undo this. And let's look at these two last rules. The 0 exponent rule, this is a good one to have. Anything to the 0 power by definition is equal to 1. If you just remember that, anything to the 0 power is equal to 1, you'll get that one right on the ASVAB. So if I have a number like 1,245 to the power 0, that's just equal to 1. If I have 17 to the power 0, equal to 1. X to the power 0, equal to 1. Anything to the power 0 is equal to 1. And then our 6th rule of exponents is fractional exponents. This is a square root. It reverses a square. So if I have x squared and I want to go backwards, right? If I'm adding numbers together, I go backwards by subtracting. If I'm multiplying, I go backwards by division. If I have a square, I go backwards by a square root, right? So the square root of x squared is just equal to x. Another way to write that square root is a fractional exponent and just call it x to the 1/2. There's no number here. It's implied it's a 1. It is a square root, 2 sides to the square, so that's a 2 right there. So if I have 25 to the 1/2, that is saying the square root of 25. What times itself equals 25? It'll be 5. Okay, so those are 6 rules of exponents. One more time from the top. We have the product rule where multiplying leads us to adding. The quotient rule where dividing leads us to subtracting. Power where we multiply. Negative, make it positive in the other side of the fraction. Anything in the 0 power is equal to 1. And then the fractional exponent, square root, or to the 1/2 power are the same. Okay, so with all that said, let's take a look at some of the basics here. Make sure you have paper and pencil out here and do these before I do them. Post your answer in the comments. Oh, I'll give you a second to do some of these. See if you get one right. You put oh, good to hear. Running made right. Good to hear. Good luck. Go slow, be thoughtful, think it through. Okay, I don't see any answers in the comments. Maybe I'll just get started here. So what we're doing here is we are simplifying. There's no equation, no equal sign, so we just have to simplify. My base is k, so that base is going to stay the same. Here I'm going to use the product rule. I am multiplying, so I add those two exponents together to get k to the 9th. Everybody get that one? Okay, number 2, bases are the same. It is the quotient rule. I am dividing. Because I'm dividing, I subtract my exponents. 10 minus 4 is equal to m to the 6. Give you another minute here. Power of a power rule right here. Here my base is w. My exponent is 5. The whole quantity is to the 3rd. So 5 times 3 is 15. So I have w to the 15. Let me erase those and move these up a little bit. These are kind of just gimmies on the ASVAB math knowledge. If you just remember this one thing, x to the 0 power, anything to 0 power is equal to 1. So this right here is equal to 1. Then I have 10 times 1, which is just 10. Easy as that. Then right here, I'm going to do the negative exponent rule. Negative exponent means I got to make it positive in the denominator. You look at your multiple choice answers, that might not be there, but you know 4 squared is 4 times 4, 16. So this is 1 over 16, 1/16 right there. There we go. See a few people getting those right. All right, let's move on to some more problems, a little bit harder ones. These are mixed. So we got to use a few different rules here. Okay, I'll give you a second to do these. See if I can get a little better, that thing stay focused. Okay, and this one right here, that whole quantity is to the 4th power. So that means I have 2 to the 4th. Then remember I got to multiply that, x to the 12th. 3 times 4 is 12. And then 2 to the 4th, 2, 4, 8, 16. So this is equal to 16x to the 12th. Here I have division. So that means I'm going to use the quotient rule of exponents. I'm going to subtract. I just have 12 over 3. That 12 over 3 will reduce to a 4. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 12 4 times, or 12 divided by 3. A to the 6, a squared, those are the same bases. So I'm going to have an a. 6 minus 2, right? It's a quotient rule. If I'm dividing, I have to use subtraction. A to the 4th. There's no number here, so it's a 1. Bases are the same. Gives me a b. 2 minus 1 is a 1. Now, I think that's as simplified as I could go right there. All right, let's move on to number 8. I'm going to distribute that 2 through those quantities. This is power to the power rule. So I got to multiply. That's going to give me x to the 4th. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Usually you don't want to leave anything in negative exponents. So I'm going to convert this to x to the 4th. How do I get y to the negative 6 positive? I'll move it down to the denominator to make it positive. So it becomes y to the 6 right there. Okay, number 9, power to the power rule here. This is going to be p to the 2 times 3, 6, over p to the 5. Bases are the same. Quotient rule, I have to subtract my exponents, so I keep my bases the same. 6 minus 5 gives me 1. I could put that 1 up there. I don't have to either way, or I could just call it p. Are we getting these right? Make sure you have paper and pencil out in front of you, doing them alongside me. Hopefully before I do them, I could pause a little bit longer. All right, let me clear the screen, move it up a little bit. And let's do number 10 here. This one's a little more complicated, got a lot going on. I don't think you'll see it much harder than this on the math knowledge portion. First thing I do is I have a 3 times a 2. That's going to be a 6. Then I have m squared up above, and then I have this m right here. I'm actually going to move it down below and make it positive. So the 2 and the 3 together gave me that 6. m squared is there. M to the negative 5 is the same thing as m to the 5. That's going to give me a 6. The quotient rule, right? I'm going to divide, so I got to subtract exponents. That's going to give me m to the negative 3. 2 minus 5, negative 3. Or, remember, I don't want negative exponents. I could put it here, m to the 3, and make it positive. I could do that here, too, because I am multiplying. I go m squared times m to the negative 5. I could add those exponents, right? Product rule, to get m to the negative 3, and then make it positive. All right, moving right along here. The mental math challenge. These are good. You might see these. If you just think about this one first, what is this one going to be? I'll give you a second to figure that one out. Pause it here for a minute. Okay, well, what this is saying is, this is an easy one to make a quick mistake, too. It is saying negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, right? It is saying negative 2 times itself 3 times. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Correct answer for number 11 is negative 8. You could be sure that answer A in a multiple choice test would be 8 as a natural distractor. So this one right here is negative 8. This is an important differentiation here. It's a super subtle one. Remember, order of operations is exponents before multiplication. I'll give you a chance to do this one, and then I'll do it. Because 4 is attached to the 2, it is really, I got to do my exponents first and then multiply by that negative. So 2 to the 4th, right, exponents before multiplication, 2, 4, 8, 16. 2 to the 4th is 16, and then it's negative out front. So that's a tough one. Okay, number 13. Give you a second to do that one. Well, if I have 2 over 3 quantity squared, that means I got to square everything inside there. So 2 times itself, 2 squared, 2 times itself is 4. 3 squared, 3 times itself, 3 times 3 is 9. Correct answer, 4/9. Correct answer for 12, negative 16ths, negative 8. All right, let me move these up a little bit, and then give you a chance to do these two. These things are really hard to do if you don't know the rule, but if you just remember those couple of rules, review them, every day until your test, you might get them to stick. All right, 16 to the 1/2 power, that looks intimidating. All it's saying is what times itself equals 16. It is saying the square root is 16. What times itself is 16? Well, 4 times 4 is equal to 16. And then down here, I have 2 to the 3rd, 2 times 2 times 2, 2, 4, 8. So 2 to the 3rd is 8. 2 squared is 2 times 2, 4. 4 and 8 together give me 12. See if we got 15 out of 15 there. Okay, here we are at the practice test. These are kind of similar ones you might see in the math knowledge portion of the ASVAB. These 10 problems are really just all going to be on exponents because that's what today's lesson was. I'll try and give you a pause let you get a minute or two to do them before I do them. And then post your answers in the comments, in the chat. You just go A, B, C, or D, or the number either way. Uh-oh. This is a typo right here, though. This is a mistake. Let me correct this one before you try it. This should actually be multiplication. So that's a typo there on number 2. It should be multiplication. All right, what'd you get for number 1? Anybody out there? Number 1. I'm not going to type it in there. There we go. There we go. Good to see. 5 to the third, 5 times 5, 25. 25 times 5, 125. Correct answer, answer A right there. Number 2. Give you a second on number 2 here. Yep, there it is. Answer C. Bases are the same. Product rule. I add across, so I have x to the 7th. Correct answer, answer C right there. Very good. Moving right along here. Let's see if we get another one up here. Don't jump on this one too quick. Think it through a little bit. Any ideas on this one? So on number 3, I'll give it a second more. This is the power to the power rule. So this is going to be my base of 2. The whole thing's to the third power. So I multiply that 3 and the 2 together, get 2 to the 6. 2 to the 6. 2 times 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. So correct answer is answer C right there. Yeah, I count on my fingers a lot, especially with these exponents, right? My number of fingers is going to be how many exponents I'm talking about. And then what I'm saying out loud is what it is. So 2 is 2 to the first, 4, 2 squared, 8, 2 to the third, 16, 2 to the fourth, 32, 2 to the 5th, 64, 2 to the 6th. All right, hope we're doing well here. Number 4, what's the answer to that one? I'll give you a hint, it's the quotient rule. Bases are the same. I see a couple answers there. Good to see. Bases are the same. The answer is going to be y. The quotient rule says I subtract exponents. 8 minus 2 is 6. Correct answer, answer A right there. Okay, number 5. Get this one right on number 5. This is the one, remember this rule, it'll help a lot. Yep. Anytime you're to the 0 power, 1 million, whatever to the 0 power is equal to 1. 9 to the 0 is equal to 1. Anything to the 0 power is equal to 1. Correct answer, answer B, right there on number 5. Okay, let's put these 2 up here. I'll give you a minute to do those. Good, good, good. Good to see people in the mix. Getting them right. I don't know why that thing's out of focus. On number 6, what do we have? Is that number 6? Almost. Let's think about this one a little bit. This is going to be the negative exponent rule. So I want to make that thing positive, so I put it 1 over 10 squared. And then I know 10 squared is 10 times 10, 100. So I got 1/100th. It's not up there. So it's, one of those has to be the equivalent of 1/100th. This is a really small fraction, like 1%, 0.01. And that's what it is right here, answer C, right there. So again, this one right here, oh, there we go. This is a pretty tricky one because you got to figure out that you're using the negative exponent rule and make a positive in the denominator. And then you don't have that answer, so you have to take that fraction, convert it to a decimal to get a really small number like 0.01. Okay, I'll give you a second on number 7. Let me say one thing though. That 2 is going for everything inside the parentheses. So that 2 on the outside has to go to everything inside the parentheses. I'll give you a minute to get that one right. Okay, so that means I got to square 3, so I have 3 squared. Here, power of the power rule, x to the 4th. 3 squared is 3 times 3, 9. X to the 4th, correct answer. Answer D right there. There we go. All right, turning the page. I think I did 10 problems here. So put these 2 up, give these a try, and then I'll go over them. Okay, on number 8, what do we have? Nice to see. That's just knowing that rule, that fractional exponent rule, that anything to the 1/2 power is the same thing as a square root. That square root is the opposite of a square. It is saying what times itself will give me 16. What times itself will give me 16. Correct answer, answer C right there. All right, and then on this one right here, this is the negative exponent rule. I'll give you a second here. It's not asking you to do anything to this. It is just saying what is the equivalent of. I know it's going to be this one right here because a to the negative 5 is the same thing as 1 over a to the 5th. So 1 over a to the 5th is the same as that. So if it's positive below, you can move it to the top and make it a negative. Or if it's negative above, you can move it to the bottom to make it a positive. All right, last problem right here. Find this right here. This is a good problem. I've seen this on a few practice exams. Give you a minute to get this one right. Don't rush this one. There we go, there we go. 3 squared, 3 times itself, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 9 plus 8, 17, answer C right there. All right, that's a good problem right there. You might see something like that. It's good to see a lot of folks got that one right. Well, that's kind of what I had planned for class today. If you have any questions at all, please post them in the chat right there, and I'll answer any questions. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up, call it a day. Pretty cold out here right now, getting snow. All right, I think I'll just call it quits if there are no questions. I wish you all the best of luck on your standardized exam on the ASVAB. It's exciting change. I know if you put the work in now and just keep studying and keep working at it, keep studying, keep working at it, good things come about from practice, doing homework and hard work. So I'm sure you'll do well. So good luck. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. I've been teaching math and woodshop for about 30 years. I love this. I love making people do better than they thought they could on any standardized math exam. So thank you for your support. Was there any questions there before I? What's going to be on the exam? I don't know. They mix them up. The best way to do well on that exam is not just try and memorize a bunch of problems, but really try and go back and get the ideas of the math. There's some practice tests. I have practice tests that I work my way through. That's only really good after you do a little bit of studying. A lot of this math you might have to review for a while. So, all right. Thank you for watching.